Welcome to Mindset Matters. My name is Danielle Ribeiro, and I am your host for today. So come into the chat, say hello, let me know who's here. I'd love to say hi to you. So how's everybody doing today? Happy Monday. Are we good? All right, I don't see anybody coming in the chat, and this is our new restream, so it's brand new. So this is my first day of using it, so it might take me a minute or two to get myself situated. But if you are here, make sure you say hello. And so today we're going to be talking about presence over pressure. This is an interesting concept because 90% of the time 90% of the time we feel like we are just running on autopilot, right? So we sit there, we run on autopilot, we kind of go through the day, we don't really know, it's like from one meeting to the next. And my question to you is, how many times do you truly feel present in a situation? Or are you projecting and thinking about your next move? So I can tell you that when leaders operate from stress and survival mode, communication breaks down very easily. And then teams start to disengage, they start to disassemble, and performance suffers. Because if the leader is not present, and if the leader is not coming from a place of calm, then it will resonate down to their entire tribe. So we have to learn how to approach situations from a stronger leadership perspective, okay? And I'm going to teach you a technique today called the AIM approach, which is phenomenal at really helping you to kind of get yourself back on track when you feel like you're running from one thing to the next. It's just at this point in our lives and where we are as a culture, that's what we do. We just fly through one thing to the next. So I want us to ask ourselves a very specific question. How many of you have ever felt like your body was in the room, but your mind was in 10 other rooms? I could tell you from coming from a place of experience and leading close to a $30 million region when I worked for a dental manufacturing company for 20 years, I felt the pressure of everything else. And I would really feel this when I was on the phone with one of my reps or a client, and I'm thinking about 20 million other things. And I can't tell you how many times I sat there and thought to myself, am I even present? Do I even know what's going on? Like, I was really good at multitasking, but I would sit there and think, wow, I am not giving this person, yeah, exactly. I'm not giving this person any attention whatsoever. I am just on autopilot because I'm really good at my job and I know what to say to them, even if I'm only half listening. And it was doing them such a disservice because they weren't getting all of me. And as leaders, because all of us are leaders in one way, shape, or form, whether we're leaders in our jobs, whether we're leaders at home with our children, we're leaders, okay? And when we choose to be present, we are magical beings. We can really turn a disorganized situation into something spectacular. But unfortunately, many of us don't allow ourselves to stay in that present mode. So, We answer texts without like really thinking or reading. So many times I have gone back to a text message and said, oh my gosh, I misread what you wrote. Let me reframe. I can't tell you how many times I've done that in corporate. And until I learned how to remain present and started taking on different techniques and really understanding how the subconscious mind works, that my whole world shifted. Because being present in any situation is the biggest gift you can not only give them, but yourself, because you are learning so much more from being present. You're really listening, you're really hearing, and you're growing in that type of situation. So
Danielle, I think you just muted yourself.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but I am sorry. So I don't know how much you guys really heard of me, but new technology.
Yeah, new technology. Thank you, everyone, for working with us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being present while we're being present in this new technology. So, yes, let's definitely figure this out. Okay, so our brains are prediction machines. Okay, and when we're overwhelmed, thinking moves into survival mode. That's how we are mechanically and chemically built. Okay, so reactions increase, listening decreases because we're thinking about other things, and emotional intelligence drops, and it drops drastically, and our communication skills weaken. So when I say it's a gift to be present, not only to your audience, but to yourself, it truly is. And when leaders live in future anxiety or past stress, everyone feels it. Your family feels it, your team feels it, your coworkers feel it. It is something that resonates everywhere, okay? So, have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt the tension of the space? Anybody? I mean, I am very, very empathic and intuitive. So when I walk into a stressful or very tense situation, nobody has to say a word, and I feel the energy immediately. And that energy really, really identifies my next steps, because if I allow myself to take on that energy of the space, of the tension, of the worry, then what's going to happen is it's going to do all the things I said before. It's going to lessen my communication skills. I'm going to get really paranoid that something I say is wrong. So if I allow myself to take on that stress and that tension, it's going to snowball into everything else that is going on. So think about that with your clients, with your family, with your team, with your coworkers. Think about that if that's you walking in and they're walking into your space and you are the one that is executing all of this stress and overwhelm. Think about that. You are going to lower the communication, you're going to lower the production, all of it. So we have to show up being present. We have to show up being present. And how do we do that? Well, one technique that I love is I focus on my breathing. So when I feel myself drift, I start to feel the breath going in through my nose, and I start to feel the breath going out through my mouth. Because we naturally breathe, we don't pay attention to it, right? But when we start to pay attention to it, it brings us right back to the present moment. I sadly do that with my spouse when I am in a bad mood. I mean, we're human. We all do it, right? So it's about being mindful of that type of reaction and shifting it. Because if you know what's going on and you know you do it, you could shift it because you're aware of it. So that's the first step. So actually, kudos to you for identifying that that's something that you do. You know, because like I said, we all have tendencies of doing that. So let's learn about the AIM framework. And I'm going to put this in the chat because I just want to make sure you guys, so I don't even know how to chat on this thing, to be honest with you, but it's AIM. So Scott, if you could put that in there, and it's called the AIM framework. Okay, there you go. So now let's start with the A. Okay, I feel like I'm a cheerleader again. Okay, let's start with the A. A is for awareness. What did I just say, right? If you're aware that you're doing something, then you could reel it back in. You cannot change what you don't notice. Period. Can't. Okay, it's not possible. If you don't notice you're doing it, you can't change it, right? So identifying the fact that you feel a certain way is your first step. So questions. What am I feeling? Am I reacting or responding? What energy am I bringing into this room? And as leaders, that is so important to ask yourself on a daily, maybe per meeting. Sometimes you may have to ask yourself that many times throughout the course of the day. And then think about it for a minute. Close your eyes, even for 10 seconds, and ask yourself, what thoughts are here? Where am I holding this tension? It's a great way to check in with yourself. Because again, lots of us are really good at what we do, and we'll just keep going on autopilot. But think about how much better you can be if you take the time to really become aware of your actions. It's simple. It's simple. That I is for intention. Most people live by default, right? So leaders choose, and this is amazing because you do have the choice. So I is for intention. So Scott, if you could put that in there, please. I is for intention, and leaders can choose how they show up, how they communicate, what emotional state they create. Remember, leaders lead. So are you going to lead by example? Or are you going to lead by dictation? Nobody likes a dictator, I can tell you that right now. No team will benefit from a dictator. It will never happen, I promise you. So if that's an area where you are at this point, then that's something to really think about and really check in with yourself as to why do you feel that you need to dictate. You could dictate, but do it in a way of understanding And there are times where you need to be more authoritative, sure, but cracking the whip, it doesn't work long term. So, you want to create an emotional state where your team, your people, your tribe, your children, everybody wants to succeed because they don't want to let you down, because they love the dopamine drop they get from being successful. They love hearing from you. Wow, you did an amazing job. So they're going to keep doing things that are amazing because they want to give you that they want to hear that appreciation from you. That's what everybody wants. They want to feel like they're being heard. They want to feel like their actions are being seen and appreciated. That's the way it goes. So when you feel this way, what outcome do I want from this interaction? So you need to think about that. What do you want from your team, your children, your tribe, your coworkers? What reaction and outcome are you looking for? So before a difficult conversation, this is a great example, go to the end. Always reverse engineer. So most of us always are at the place of, I need to fix this. Well, instead of saying that, be intentional and say, I want to understand where they are coming from. And this works really well with any type of conflict. It could be a conflict with your spouse, it could be a conflict with a sibling, friend, children. I use this technique a lot with my son, with my stepdaughter, with my husband. I used it in corporate all the time with my team. I want to understand why they feel the way they feel. It's important, right? Because if we understand, then we come from a place of more, it hits more of an emotional trigger, and you come from a place of understanding, right? Okay, so M is for movement. All right. And this is an aligned reaction. Okay. So what is one small action that moves this situation forward? And those small actions could be pause before reacting. I am a firm believer in the 24-hour method. You get a scathing email, you get a kind of a lousy text. Wait. Do not react immediately, because 95% of the time, what you say immediately is something you are going to regret long term. And it's not going to solve or create any solution to the issue. Okay. So 24-hour rule, especially in business. And then also listen before solving. Now, here's the thing with listening. Okay. Remember I told you to be present? I know I did this, and I do this sometimes as now, but not as much as I used to. I would never listen to the challenge of the individual. Not never, but many times. I wouldn't listen because I would already be projecting to the solution. Because remember, we're good at what we do, right? So it's like, okay, you're wasting my time. You're telling me all this stuff, but I already know how to fix it. So let's just get to the brass tacks, right? But there's a secret sauce in listening, because there could be pieces that you assume, and then you go back and you realize, wow, I really didn't listen, and I could have solved that a lot better if I listened. And then also clarifying before assuming. One thing I say often is, may I ask a clarifying question? I say this all the time, especially I am a chief sales officer for an AI company, and I'm a vested partner in the company. And there's many times where I may not understand where the CEO is coming from, and being in a C-suite position, you have these really high level conversations, and there's times where I don't want to assume I know the answer. So I always will say, may I ask a clarifying question? And then the last thing is to take one step in a positive direction. Okay? To help get you to the result that you are truly desiring. All right? In my opinion, the AIM technique is a really good check-in for yourself. It humanizes the situation tremendously, instead of sitting there and kind of going through the process that we always go through, the hamster wheel, the running from one thing to the next. So that's why I personally feel that this is something that I think you guys could really benefit from. I can't believe that we are almost at time. So as always, if you have ever been part of a Mindset Matters, we like to take the last few minutes to ground and do a really short but intentional check-in and very brief meditation. So I would like to do that now with everyone. I am going to put myself off camera and ask if you can, if you're available, to sit comfortably and place both feet on the floor. Close your eyes and take a deep, intentional breath in through your nose. Hold at the top. And exhale through your mouth. Again, take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Hold at the top. And exhale through your mouth. Bring your awareness to your body. Notice where you feel any pressure or heaviness. Send love, send peace to that area. Breathe into that area. Imagine setting down all the expectations, the deadlines, the conversations, the noise. Just for a moment. You do not need to solve tomorrow. You do not need to replay yesterday. The only place your power exists is right here and right now. It's in this breath. It's in this moment. Imagine yourself walking into work this week, calm, clear, and present. Notice how people respond. Notice how your team responds. Notice how you respond. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And let's anchor in. Calm, clarity, connection, confidence. Those words now embody your energy field. Now follow you throughout your day, your week, your month, your year. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Hold at the top. And blow out through your mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes. As always, thank you for taking the time on your Monday to spend it with us here at Mindset Matters. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at www.dmrsociety.com or Danielle at dmrsociety.com. That's my email. And if you are not already on the Fuel platform, I strongly suggest that you take a moment to go through the platform. There are amazing instructors on there and amazing content. So sign up for the free 7-day trial. It is so worth it. Guided meditation, subliminals, education on how to be a better leader, how to be more intentional. You name it, we have it. So definitely take the time, try it for 7 days, see what you think. I have a lot of guided meditations on there for many of you that would work, especially for the moms in the group, because we really have to learn how to multitask. So there's some awesome meditations on there for that. But again, thank you so much for this time. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care.